Hello, it's Tammy Powley of the Crafty Princess Diaries weblog, as well as the Crafty Princess Diaries podcast over on YouTube. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel so you get future notifications of any videos that I upload. Today's video is a product review of an item I recently purchased myself. However, I'd just like to put a shout out to any vendors out there. If you would like to send products to me for review, I do jewelry making, wire, beads, seed beads, all kinds of jewelry. I'm also very active with yarns, so anything related to yarn, especially crochet and knitting. And of course I just also dabble in paper crafts. But the reason why I'm doing this video is because I purchased this product. Here you go. It's called the Options Interchangeable Nickel Plated Needle Set. It's available from Knit Picks. And before I bought it, I kept looking online for more information about it. Now, I will say there are a lot of really helpful written reviews, especially even on the knitpicks.com website. There were some very helpful comments from people who had already purchased it. But my beef was that I wasn't able to see it. I wanted to see what the packaging was like. You know, I just needed more visual understanding of what I was going to buy. The picture that they have on Knit Picks just shows you what's inside of it. It doesn't show you the packaging that it comes in. And that, to me, I think was kind of lacking. And so I thought, well, once I get it, if I feel like it's necessary, maybe I will put together a little review. And that's what this is about, the pros and cons. Let me just comment quickly here on the packaging, because you may see these green needles. You're not going to get these. These are all nickel plated. I put these in here because I'm using this particular size right now, but I wanted to let you know that you do get all these different sizes when you purchase it. Same with the cable back here. You get 2 or 4 cables, but this green one you won't get. I'm just using it to store that particular cable because I'm using stuff. So yeah, I will say, just first of all, I'm very happy with my purchase. As you can see, and I just mentioned, I'm using this like crazy already. Okay, and I just bought it a couple weeks ago. So I'm using it a lot. For my personal needs, it's working out really well. But let me show you some of what you get inside this package. And oh, and by the way, I bought it when it was on sale for 10% off. I have seen this particular product up to 15% off very rarely, but occasionally. In fact, after I bought it, like a week later, they had 15% off everything. Bummer. But you know, this ended up costing me then about $45, and then of course they have free shipping if you spend $50. So I bought some stitch markers and a few odds and ends to bring it up to the $50 mark. That way I had items that were useful to me still, and I could get free shipping. So what you get in this is the following: 9 nickel plated needles, and if you can see, I'll put it up kind of close here a little bit so you can see the different sizes of the needles are listed here in a card that's inserted inside of this plastic case. And those sizes happen to be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 and a half, and 11. And those are all US needles sizes. They also have the millimeters listed on here as well. So you can see that. Okay. So if you are not, from the US and you prefer European sizing, they do have the millimeters on there to help you. So the front part of the case has all the needles and has little slots for each of the different sizes. The back part of the case has 2 pockets, and they're snap closures. So there's 2 pockets here. These are where the cables, and you get 4 cables. You get 2 24-inch cables and 2 32-inch cables. You also get 2 keys, which I'm going to show you how to use in a minute. And let's see, what was the other thing? Oh, you get the end caps. So I'll go ahead and open up this one here and take out this little plastic bag that has the end caps and the keys, and then a couple of cables. Alright, so the end caps work, they're basically just little caps. You can see like a little hat, and they have a screw on the other side. So this way, if you're working on something and you realize, oh, I need those needles because I want to work on something else, which is, yeah, we know how we are. We tend to be multi-crafting all the time and have multiple projects going on. So this way, you can just screw this on to the cable, take off the needles first, of course, and then you can use it for a different project. So these are very handy. The other thing in this little plastic baggie is a key, and you get 2. Like I said, you get 2 keys. So you get 8 of these and 2 of these. This is really essential. It seems like a little of nothing, and really any piece of wire would probably work for what I'm going to show you how to do. But the key helps you tighten and loosen the needles to the cables. So here's one of the cables. Now, one comment on this, and this is something I read online a lot of people were confused about. They thought the cable, for example, a 24-inch cable would be 24 inches. Well, obviously this is not 24 inches. I mean, I don't know if you can tell that through the video, but this is only 24 inches after you attach the needles. Then from needle tip to needle tip is 24 inches. So the cable itself is not 24 inches. So I'm going to pick a size 10 out of here. And so, also I wanted to mention, because I purchased a little sample kit they have. It's called, see, I wrote it down. It's called Try It Needle Set that Knit Picks carries. I purchased that probably a good year or two, or a year and a half maybe, before I went ahead and bought this whole set. And I definitely recommend that. It's about $15 if you're not sure. It has one pair of nickel plated and one pair of Caspian. See, the Caspian are a size 6 and the nickel plated are a size 7. It also has one 40-inch cable and one 24-inch cable, 4 end caps, and 1 key. So that way you can kind of try out both needles, the nickel plated or the Caspian. I still like the Caspian. I picked the nickel plated because just generally speaking, I prefer metal needles when possible. They're faster for me. I like the glidiness that you get with them. But obviously it depends on what you're making, and it also depends on your yarn. For me personally, if I'm using wool or wool and nylon or worsted weight type of acrylic, something like that, then I really like the metal. Okay, if I'm using something slippery, like something that has a lot of silk in it, or let's see, like baby alpaca, then I usually go to use my bamboo needles. So maybe at one point I will break down and either get a bamboo set. I do have some one pair of chiagos or chagus. I've heard the two different ways pronounced, and I do like those. Or maybe the Caspian. Like I said, I like the Caspian. They're just not. You don't have the slipperiness that you get obviously with nickel plated. So how you screw this? You screw this on. You attach it in there. You screw it on. Very easy. And then you won't be able to see this, but there are little holes here, and you take the key, you put it through the hole, you keep the key stationary so it's not moving, and you tighten, twisting the needle towards you. Okay, and then that way, and I will tell you out of experience, because when I first bought the Try Me set, I did not know to use the key. I had no idea what it was. I didn't even really check about it. I just screwed them on, went ahead and started knitting, and yes, they came apart. Big surprise. So, yeah. In fact, it might be nice to have a little set of instructions with this for people who are silly like me and don't know to do that. So you can see the join here. It's pretty nice. I like the cables. It's got some good movement to it. I have not had any problems with anything being uncomfortable while I've knitted. So to undo it, you do the same thing. Personally, I cannot. I've tried to just unscrew it myself without the key, and I can't do it. So again, you put it in there, keep it stationary, and unscrew it. And that's kind of it. Take the key back out. These keys are really tiny, so I'm going to make sure I put it right back in my little baggie so I don't lose it, even though you get two, so that's nice. And really, honestly, if you just had probably a straight pen or something like that, you could probably use that instead of this. So the other thing I wanted to show you, because I've heard a lot about Addi Turbo Lace needles, and I did look at some sets of those, and they were pretty pricey for me. Like I said, I've been knitting for a couple of years. I would say the past year I've gotten very serious about it, really trying to learn stuff, taking craftsy classes, always have a couple of knitting projects now, along with my crochet projects. Before I was mainly a crocheter who kept trying and trying and trying to learn how to knit, and just for whatever reason it took me probably 3 or 4 times to really figure it out. So I did purchase a set of Addi Turbos. These are for 16-inch cables because I was making hats for one of the craftsy classes. Well, I like these. I have to say I do like these. They're very pointy, very comfortable, very nice and smooth. If you compare them, I think you can see that, yeah. So there's a comparison, nickel plated And then these are nickel-plated knit picks and the lace Addi turbos. Obviously, the turbos have more of a, let me hold them even closer together, maybe that'll help. Yeah, the Addis have more taper to them. Yeah. So yeah, the Addis are more tapered, definitely. But for me, I still really like the knit picks. I didn't see that big of a difference, I would say. I see a difference, but not enough for me to personally justify the cost, because when I started pricing a set of Addi turbos, it was well over $100. And I will say also, should point out, some of the sets I was looking at had more stuff in them, had more items, more cables, a few more needles than this particular knit pick set. Okay, so you know, obviously the more you get, the more you pay. But generally speaking, I just felt that these were pricier than I'm ready to commit to at this point in my knitting career. The knit picks were $45, you know, and I really like them, so I was good with that. I'm not saying someday I wouldn't jump up to these, but right now, so I think that this set is generally good for people who are, if not new, because most new people aren't even going to use circulars right away. It took me quite a while before I stepped into circulars. I was using straight needles for many years, or for probably a couple years when I was trying to learn. So it's stepping up to the circular, I think, you're getting a little bit more advanced. So the first, you know, buying a set right away seems a little bit daunting. But as you know, the same thing with crochet hooks. Once you get started knitting or crocheting, you always need multiple hooks or needles. It's just, you think you're going to be fine with, you know, one size H hook and a size 6 needle or a size 10 needle, and then next thing you know, you have 2 or 3 projects that all require size 10 needles. So that's, you know, it's nice to have multiple sets. All right, so that is what it's in there. Oh, also, you're not going to be able to see this, but because it's, I can barely see it, but I have to really look under the light. But there is a sizing on these that are, and they're pretty smooth, so hopefully they'll stay on. It's not raised, but you can see, like, this says 10 on it, and it's got 6 millimeter. So if for some reason you do not put it back in the case like you should, and you get them lost, you can figure out what you have, and you don't have to use a sizer. I mean, they do have those little gauge sizer things, which I've purchased. That's one of the things actually I purchased when I bought this, so that was like a couple dollars. All right, so here's my cons. Because, like I said, very happy with my purchase. I would buy it again in a heartbeat. Only 15% off would have been nicer than 10%. But the cons. The case, to me, is kind of not as attractive as I would like it to be. It's very functional. You know, you can see everything. You got the labels down here, and this sits into the case really nicely. There are little, you know, slots for all of the needles. So, and you can see everything. So functionality, I would give this, you know, a B+. Aesthetics, I would give this a C. Maybe a C+. I don't know. It's just, I feel like, and I know, like I just said, $50 isn't a huge amount to pay for a set of interchangeables. But to me, $50 is not nothing. It would have been just nicer to have a little bit of an upgrade of a case. And I'm actually looking at cases now. If anyone has any suggestions, I just want something that's a little bit prettier. What can I say? I like pretty stuff. If there's something that's a little bit more aesthetically pleasing and still functional, I will probably get it at some point. The other beef I have also deals with the case. These, okay, they're just these little baggies. And opening these a bunch, I know that I will rip this little back. So I'll probably get maybe a small notions pouch for now. I probably have one around here that would maybe fit in here, maybe like a little drawstring organza bag, or I don't know, something, because this is going to rip, and then you could lose all these little doodads, especially in my house where I have animals all over the place. These would be great cat toys. They would zip these around all over the place. So yeah, that's really a couple of beefs about just visually the packaging. The other thing was, and this isn't I'm not the only one who said this, but when reading all of the online reviews, a lot of people questioned why there was not a 16-inch cable in this package, because of course if you're going to do hats you need a 16-inch cable unless you're going to do magic loop, okay? But generally speaking, a lot of times you're going to use a 16-inch cable. So why have two 24 and two 32s? Why not, I'm just wondering, why not have a 16, a 24, a 32, and a 40? That would be nice. I mean, maybe there's a reason that I'm not privy to, but you know, those are the 4 sizes. This is supposed to be a whole set. Yeah, it would have been nice to have, you know, if you're limited to 4, okay, you got 4 cables, why not just have one of each of the ones that are used a lot? Because I know 32, from what I've read, a lot of people use that. It's very comfortable. I think, in fact, I think I'm using that on something now. That's why this one is in here. This is the 40-inch one that I got in the little try it set. But yeah, especially the 16-inch. I mean, a lot of people make hats, and it seems like that would be kind of something that should be in here. So those are my 2 cons about it. Cable sizes could be big, could be more varied, and the actual package, this just could be prettier. I don't know how. I don't have any specific suggestions. I just know, for me, it wasn't as like I said, not as aesthetically pleasing as I had hoped. But otherwise, this, I think I would definitely recommend anyone who's looking for an affordable needle set that is in metal. People like myself, if you're using wool or woolen nylon or acrylics for sure, these are nice and pointy. They slip. I mean, the slip is great. I feel like I can work fairly quickly with them, and I'm very happy with them. So this, like I said, it's called the Options Interchangeable Nickel Plated Needle Set. That is like a really long title. There's no way I can remember that. So I keep looking at it in my notes. But yeah, so this is one of a number of nickel plated needle sets that they have. They have Caspian, they have rainbow sets also, and then you can purchase them individually, and you can also purchase double pointed sets also in nickel plated. So yeah, I'm going to wrap it up there. Again, this is Tammy Powley, the Crafty Princess. Stop by my blog at TammyPowley.com and hang out over with me over at YouTube sometime and check out my videos and subscribe. Thank you.